we are told are drones over sensitive, super sensitive military facilities. It sounds like nothing at the moment, but I wager it's going to turn out to be enormous.
Which
Can't
is
say
sort
any
of
more right now.
It's a way of pivoting from 2024 to 25, because this seems to be ongoing.
I think 2024 in future will be seen, ironically, as the calm before the storm.
Wow.
I think very early in 2025, all hell is going to break loose.
Holy smokes, all hell is going to break loose. Well, we've heard that many times before, right? They actually said this last year in 2023. At the end, I remember there was all this 2024. This is going to be the, disclosure. It's coming. I'll be honest, I'm not really a fan of these type of, comments, but to each their own. I'm not judging them. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm allowed to have my own opinion. Hearing those kind of things is, again, just kicking the can down the road. But what else are you going to say if you're him, I guess, right? I don't know. But look, you decide, right? Let me know in the comments what you think of that. But let's get to the bigger part of the story, which is maybe what he's talking about, right? What is going to be this big change that's coming? Well, I have another clip from Ross that might give us a little indication of what this big thing that's coming in 2025 might just be.
Question for Mr. Coulthart. What is your take on why the NHI do not just reveal themselves? Do you agree with the idea that there is an agreement for delayed or complete non-disclosure? Because if true, I would find that to be somewhat confusing behaviour on behalf of the NHI. I also think that if they were waiting for us to be ready, that maybe we wouldn't be seeing them in our skies, or maybe at all. Thanks for the work you do and hoping to hear your thoughts. Okay, Mr. Dark. I think there's a really interesting explanation that I'm beginning to hypothesize. This is only a speculative hypothesis on my part, but it is based on work that I am doing that is increasingly focusing on what I believe is a consciousness connection to the UAP phenomenon. I do think that there is a link between what we call psychic phenomena, telepathy, or psionics, as is the more neutral term that's used by the military and the defense community. I do believe that there is a connection between human psionic abilities, telepathic, psychic abilities, and consciousness, and that the UAP phenomenon is tied into that. And I suspect this is one of the largest reasons for why this is being kept secret and for why the NHI are not overtly showing themselves. And my growing hypothesis, it's just a hypothesis because there's a few things I can't tell you right now that I'm going to be reporting on in coming weeks, and I'm very excited to be bringing you that story. But I do know that the Air Force has been working on psionics for many, many decades. They never stopped investigating the power of the human mind and consciousness ever since the Stargate program and the remote viewing program. I know it's been poo-pooed. I know there's a George Clooney movie based on John Ronson's book called The Men Who Stare at Goats. And I know all the supposed debunkers say it's BS. But I can tell you, it's not BS. I've seen it for myself, and it's real. And in forthcoming weeks, you will see why I say it's real. And I believe the United States Air Force has knowingly deceived Congress, successive presidents, and the American public and the world about what it knows for far too long. It's time for this story to be told.
All right, so psionics, right? Which, look, should we be studying consciousness, the power of the mind? Yeah, I don't think that should ever stop, to be honest with you, because what are we one day going to hit a wall and be like, oh, well, that's it? I don't think so. All right, so yes, of course, we should be studying this, but what we're finding out, I don't know. All right, like, I guess we'll wait and see. Right. What is he going to report on? Right. Because he's telling us it's real. Right. No question about it. He's seen it for himself. So that's interesting. And look, I look forward to the reporting. Let's see what this is about. Right. But I will say that this next part he brings up has me a little worried, because anytime the idea of children, are brought into this, I pause and I take a step back, because accusations like that absolutely have to come with proof. Otherwise, that's exploitation, and I am not a fan of that. And there's no need to bring children into this topic or this discussion, right? In my opinion. So I have to admit, these next comments by Ross have me a little worried.
Now, coming back to the question from Mr. D'Arc, I think the NHI are showing themselves in our skies to twig our consciousness, to make us humans aware of capabilities that many of us don't even realize we have. And I've seen those capabilities demonstrated in recent months. I know they're real, and I frankly don't give a flying fig what the debunkers or the skeptics or the trolls would say about that. It's real, and they will soon be eating humble pie. The capacity for the human mind to engage externally with some kind of uber consciousness has been speculated about in science. Go and have a look at the work on microtubules. Let's have a look at what modern science is speculating about a quantum connection between the human brain and an external consciousness. That's where we're going in this. So what if UAPs are merely a manifestation of something that is above and around us, a consciousness? Some might call it God. Yeah, I know, this is heavy stuff. But what if the purpose of its engagement with the human race is to slowly twig our awareness and to encourage us to use abilities that we don't even know we have? I'm very interested in hearing from people who were part of the GATE program 20 to 30 years ago, who found themselves in rooms with US Air Force officers and strange psychologists in white lab coats, showing them on occasion strange, apparently non-human objects. Yes, this has been happening. Young kids, prepubertal kids, have been misused in experimentation by our military in experiments designed to develop an understanding of how to engage with the phenomenon, with a consciousness. And I think at the same time that NHI consciousness is trying to engage with humanity individually. I've spoken to so many people. I had a message this morning from one person who's an very senior US Air Force person working in a very sensitive area, who told me that they had psychical abilities and they'd never spoken about it. But when they told me about their sighting of a gigantic craft, I said to them, by any chance, do you have psychic abilities? Have you ever had an intuition or a precognition? And they said they were very moved by my question because they'd never really spoken about it, but yes, they have. And everybody I talk to tells me about intuition, precognition, some kind of second sight, some kind of insight that gives them an ability to understand or engage with things in a way that humans can't quite understand. And I think that's what lies behind our understanding, or our growing understanding of the phenomenon. I think that if these are craft, if they are craft at all, they are a manifestation of a consciousness that is trying to engage with humanity. And I think, interestingly enough, the evidence that I am acquiring suggests that these craft can only be operated by people with those psionic abilities.
Well, I will admit, again, bringing up children, you better know what you're talking about. And I mean the general you. Not specifically at Ross, but if we're going to bring kids into this, I may have to push that to the side, because I am not down for exploiting kids. If I'm being honest, I'm not down for bringing them into the conversation, even if they're a part of it, to be honest with you. Right now, if they are being mistreated and exploited by our government, that's a bombshell story. That should be front page news. But not for the way, that some people might want, right? We should stop experimenting on kids. I don't care if they have abilities. That is wrong. We shouldn't be doing that, right? So that's just my opinion, right, when it comes to that. So I hope that they tread carefully bringing kids into this. Again, that's just my opinion.